Hi everyone, how are you? I am live. This is my second live stream of the year. Hello 2021 students, what's up? How you been doing? Hey Mina, hey Ashley. So good to see you guys here. Basically, I didn't have an agenda for today's live stream. I usually do. In the past, if you look back at my previous videos, I'd have text response specific, language analysis, and comparative, and all of those actually still relevant for today. So if you wanted to go back and sort of have a more topic dense and topic focused type of video, then head on over there to have a watch. I think what we'll be covering today is more general study advice, whatever questions you guys have to the table, whether it is about text response or you're not doing comparisons now, but creative. So yeah, shoot them through and I'll answer them for you. As you can see, I've got my friends in my background. Got my fiddle leaf, got a few other plants here, got a whole chunk of mess there, but let's not talk about that. Alright, so recently I've been asked several questions about motivation, and Afik's already asked a question about what do you do when you lose motivation, or I recently started TikTok, which has been very exciting. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about it more because I'm just so excited and so happy that I did it because it's been great. But even through there, people have been asking me, how do you stay motivated for studying? And I think the best sort of answer for that is something that comes down to a very personal choice and your personal motivation. So I did a video recently about I think how to study consistently, or it could have been another video, which I'll make sure to link it for you afterwards. But it was essentially, how do you keep up with studying over time? And the big question that you want to ask yourself is why? Why are you studying? What is the overall purpose? What is the bigger picture? I think it's really easy to get drowned up into okay, I need to study for this particular assessment that's coming up in 1 week, or I need to finish this homework, and you just get sucked into the everyday of things and you stop seeing the whole reason why you're doing this, why you're studying in the first place. So I think a big motivator for me when I was in high school was I knew that I wanted to get into a particular university course. I wasn't sure which one actually, but I knew I wanted to keep my options open. And in order for me to keep my options open, I essentially needed to get as high of an ATAR as I possibly could. So I was aiming for around 98-ish because I knew that if I achieved that, I'd have basically any type of option available for me, because when I was in year 12, I still had no idea what I wanted to do. And yeah, it's a very far-reaching goal, and it was something that was incredibly, I think, challenging to work towards throughout the whole year. But having that as an external motivator, as something that I knew I wanted to work towards, just sort of flushed everything out. So it flushed all the external noise. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I could keep going, but I feel like I've made my point. MD says, hi Lisa. Hey MD, nice to meet you online. Cindy says, my vocab in essays is really basic. How to improve my vocabulary. I read many books, but my vocab is still bad. I think at the end of the day, make sure that you're not just learning vocabulary for vocab's sake. It's super obvious when a student is just fluffing up their essay and trying to sound smarter, because it actually makes you sound dumber. Again, I've done a video on this, which I'll make sure to link for you afterwards, but you want to be learning vocabulary that's contextual. So don't just, go out and read random articles out there. You totally could. The more reading, the better. But if you want to be productive and efficient about it, you want to start reading the content that's based on your book. So let's just say, for example, if you're studying 1984, you want to be reading other people's essays on 1984. You want to be reading news articles on 1984. You want to be reading study guides on 1984. And as you're reading all those things, you then are able to highlight and note down the words that people are using in relation to 1984. And by contextualizing it in that way, it also helps it click in your mind too and help you grow your vocabulary in a way that makes sense. Otherwise, if you're just learning random bits and bobs of long, big words that you never use in everyday life, you're probably not really going to remember them. So that's my handy tip there. Alois says, Lisa! Hey, Alois! Alois! Afik says, thank you a lot. Not a problem at all. Ashley says, tell me about your time management in your high school years. So my time management was not the best. If you know this about me, you know that I just basically studied as much as I could and it wasn't necessarily productive. But I think one thing that I did well was I prioritized. I recognized when some things didn't necessarily need to be done ASAP and what things needed to be done sooner rather than later. I think it does take practice for people to be skilled in prioritization. So don't be scared or don't be freaked out if you're like, I don't know how to prioritize. Everything feels important to me. It's definitely a skill that you need to achieve over time and to sort of mold over time. And sometimes you'll make mistakes too. Like sometimes you'll think that one thing should be the priority and then suddenly you realize, oh shoot, I should have been doing this like in the few days leading up to this sack that I didn't realize that I have. So that happens, and if it does, just forgive yourself. It's okay, shit happens and we can only learn from it and move on. Cindy says, thank you. Not a problem at all. While you guys ask me more questions, I'll tell you a little bit about what's been going on with me. I was so disappointed when lockdown happened for the 5 days that it happened a few weeks ago, but I'm so glad that we can go out now. It's up to the point where, we can't travel, but for me, I feel like I want to make the most out of this time. So my boyfriend and I are going camping over the weekend and we're doing a 2-day hike, which I'm actually pretty nervous about because I haven't been camping in a long time and I'm carrying like 10 kilos on my back, which I think should be super interesting, but also challenging in terms of fitness wise. I'd like to think that I'm fit in some sense, but my cardio is not as great as it could be. So if you don't see me next time on my live stream, it's because I'm dead. I'm kidding. That was a terrible joke. Yeah, I know I'll be fine. What else has been going on? I have picked up BJJ, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which has been pretty fun. And also last weekend, my boyfriend and I went away again to an Airbnb, and that was super fun because it was in Beaconsfield, which is not very far away at all. Shout out if you live near that area, near Berwick. But it was far enough that it was created a little bit of distance, and we were surrounded by farmland, which was really nice. And yeah, we just like chilled out there. We just didn't do anything. There was no Wi-Fi, so we just sat there looking into the woods, but that was super refreshing. And yeah, I guess my message is if there's any way for you guys to sort of look after yourself in the same way, whether it be going out on the weekends, going for walks, obviously like not everyone can just book an Airbnb, but if you can get out there, go to the beach or something, look after the mindset. I think that's really important, especially when it comes to year 11 and year 12, when life just feels like it's all about study, but it really, really should not be about that. And I've been getting a lot of feedback recently from people who've been saying that, you know, I went crazy at doing the whole study 24/7 to get a 97.25, but there are heaps of people out there who achieved even better than I did but studied less. And that's what I want for you guys. I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did. So yeah, what do you guys think of that? Like, is that something that you're like, yup, that makes a lot of sense to me? Are you like, hell no, like I need to buckle down and do what I need to do? Let me know. I'm interested to get your feedback, actually, because yeah, like I'm all about sharing my mistakes and preventing you from doing the same thing. But my concern is that people will just gonna keep doing it anyway, because I feel like I would have been that person, actually. Someone telling me not to do something and I'd be like, okay. And then just do whatever I want. Haley says 100% agree with you on this. That's awesome. What have you guys been doing to actually, you know, keep up with your hobbies or your downtime? Share with us, you know, what have you been doing? Because I think it'd be super helpful for other people too. While I wait for your responses, I'll share with you some of what I've been doing recently, and what I do for my own downtime. So I think one thing that I do when I get carried away with my work, because obviously I don't study anymore, but it's equivalent to studying, is I think I get really stressed, and that stress just kind of catapults me to keep working more. And I just keep working until I get this point where the stress just kind of like overrides me, and it just turns into this stress ball that's pushing me to keep working. And yeah, like although the stress is a form of motivation, it's also not great, I think, for the mind, body, and soul. So whenever I catch myself being super stressed and feeling that that stress is actually leading the way rather than my own sort of focus on the work that's in front of me, I'll actually just stop. It's super counterintuitive, but I will stop. I'll take a break. I'll go into a different room and I'll do something completely unrelated. So that will be something like doing a bit of yoga, doing some meditation, going for a walk, maybe something that I feel like is not productive at all. So I might go and do a little bit of shopping online. I might not buy anything, but I'll look up the thing that I've been currently looking at. For example, I've been looking at MAC lipsticks lately, and that's just something that I've been interested in. So I'll browse on the website for that. Yeah, and I find that in doing that, it actually helps me catch my breath and actually makes me a lot more focused when I actually do come back to study. So I hope that's helpful for one of you out there. Yeah. So please share with us. Let us know, like, what are you guys doing to look after yourselves? What do you do in your downtime? That is my question for you. And even if you join a little bit later, I'll keep asking the same question so that people who join in on the live stream can answer it whenever. All right, let's see what the questions you guys have. So MK says, what are the best study techniques? I think that's a super generic question that can only be served with a generic answer, and that's essentially you just need to find what's right for you. I know it's annoying and it's easy to have someone say, yep, this is exactly what you need to do, A, B, and C. If you do that, you're going to get 99.95. That's just not how the world works. So, you know, real talk, but it's true. So yeah, like if you're going to want to try and find the best study technique, look online, look on YouTube, see what's out there, see what resonates with you. Give it a shot. Doesn't work? Scrap it. Move on to the next one. It's all about experimentation and just figuring out what works for you. Sophie says, I love spending time outside gardening in my spare time. Oh, that's amazing. Can I ask, I don't know if this is because I'm old, but is gardening something that everyone does? Like, is it something that you guys do as 16, 17, 18-year-olds? Because I've recently picked up gardening and I love it. I have eggplants, tomatoes, lemongrass, capsicums, and they're all coming along really fine. And it's so meditative as an experience to have something grow in front of you that you're looking after. Sophie says, I like to collect succulents. Well, as you can see, I like to collect non-succulents. Okay, what else? Just reading through your questions now. Serena says, I have 2 flowers in a pot and I haven't watered them for 2 weeks. Good luck, I hope they're surviving. Sometimes you don't need to water them for 2 weeks and they're fine. Cindy says, I love just chilling to music in my spare time and also drawing. Oh, that's amazing. I feel like drawing has been something that is everywhere now. Like everywhere I look online, there are just all these people showcasing their amazing talent in drawing. And yeah, I can just see how it's something that can be such a great use of time when you're just doing nothing. So really glad to hear it. Haley says she likes to go hiking and biking. That's awesome. I love the idea of people doing exercise. It's just, you know, the endorphins are fantastic. I am doing hiking this weekend as well. I'm going to Mount Hotham for a hike. So yeah, wish me luck, guys, because like I told you before, my cardio is not great. That's an ironic laugh. All right, just upped my lighting a little bit. I love to bullet journal in my free time. That's Lil Shush. That's awesome. I wanted to get into bullet journaling, but I just didn't. I don't know what it is. I think for me, like, I'd love to be one of those study channels where, you know, I show you my amazingly drawn out like notes and everything's highlighted and beautiful, but I'm honestly not. Like, I'll show you guys genuinely what I just write words. Everything's in the same color. I only have one pen. Yeah, it's not where I'm at, but I definitely am envious of those who can bullet journal. I mean, back in the day, this is an older notepad. I did use more colors, but even then I would only use, you know, your base colors and highlighters, and that's it really. It's ironic because I'm like a visual learner, but I don't know, maybe this is enough of a visual for me, just having like, I don't know, checklists and clouds and things like that. Haley says, good luck, thank you so much. Hopefully I'm alive for the next live stream. Devin says, I think I might have just failed my first SAC. Any thoughts? Don't stress. Please don't stress. I remember when I was in year 12, I thought I had failed a SAC. And actually I did like a lot worse than I like wanted to. And I was devastated. So devastated. Especially coming from someone who was studying 24/7, you know. So because of that, I was like, oh, flips table. Like my whole year is gone. Like my study score is effed up. That's it. Like there's no point in me studying anymore. But I still did keep studying because I guess I am resilient like that. I think that's probably one of the features that I'm most proud of. Keep climbing back, you know. Even when people kick me down, I'll keep climbing back. And I think that's what you need to do as well. Like, don't let one SAC bring you down. Think about what you can learn from it and be better for the next one. That's all you can really do, right? There's no point just kind of like moping over it and thinking about how badly you did, because what's done is done. And I know that's super easy to say, and it does require time to sort of, I guess, build that hurdle and to overcome it, but you can do it, Devin. I believe in you. Kareem says, hello. Hey guys. Welcome to the live stream. So basically today what I'm asking everyone is, what do you do in your downtime? What do you do when you need to take a study break? What's the best thing for your mind, body, and soul. And for me, that's just anything that's not related to the actual study or work itself. So yoga, meditation. I will also like go water the garden. I'll hang out with my cat. I recently got a kitten. She's like 4 months old now, so that's been pretty crazy. Yeah. Hella says play with my dog. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so I know that a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but before owning a cat, I kind of didn't like pets. And I really didn't like dogs. I'm so sorry. I think a big reason for that was I think I didn't understand. And having a cat now, I feel like I actually understand why people love their pets. And yeah, okay, I'll tell you something honest. Like, I would walk down the street and, you know, people would be like, oh, that dog's so cute. But I'd be like, that dog's so ugly, man. Like, why? And yeah, it just really annoyed me that people were like, oh, so cute, when it wasn't cute, okay? But I think I understand now. Like, there is an endearing factor with loving a dog, and, you know, having a dog unconditionally love you is something that I think everyone really appreciates. So yeah. Does anyone feel like how I felt? Because yeah, that's just, I know it's an unpopular opinion. Kareem says, I work out. That's awesome. So good. In year 12, how many hours of sleep did you get regularly? I always find myself staying up super late to study. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there was only honestly one night where I stayed up to study up until like 3 a.m. But for the rest of the nights, I think I was pretty good, to be honest. I didn't need too much sleep. I think I used to sleep like from 12 through to 7. Yeah, I think that was about it. I know some people might need more, but for me at that time, like, that was all I really needed. And I would say to prioritize your sleep. Again, super ironic advice, but if you get the right amount of sleep for you, you're going to find that you're so much more productive throughout the day, and it's going to offset the amount of time that you didn't study. It's just something that you just have to do. You have to just try it to actually believe it, I feel. And it's something that I only came to believe when I finally did it. So yeah, good luck, give it a shot, and let me know how you go. Water break. Didn't have a bubble tea today. It's because I'm going out to get some pizza. Yeah. Golazo says, what was your GAT score? Good question. I don't remember specific details, but I remember I did get full marks for my English essays, and later on this year I'm actually going to be reading my essays for you guys so that you know exactly how I did it. One of my best videos is, you know, what you need to do for the GAT, and that's got, yeah, like heaps of people have watched it, heaps of people have benefited from it and told me how they achieved great scores from it. So I think it's time for me just to share with you, you know, how I did it. Like, even though I shared with you my tips on how I did it, I didn't actually share with you the essay that I used. So there's that. Maeve, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, ask how to deal with failure at school. That's a tough one. I guess I'm not sure, like, in what aspect of failure, but I think just the most important thing to remember is, I think you need to climb back up yourself and find a reason to climb back up for yourself. I think it can be incredibly demotivating to have an external factor telling you that you're not doing well, like maybe you're getting a D in English, or yeah, that's the example that I'll use. But and I think that's going to make you feel pretty bad for a while, but you need to find that question of why. And I spoke about this earlier on in my live stream about what is your overall purpose. Why are you doing this in the first place? Do you not have a why and that's why you're failing? Like, there needs to be a very clear vision for yourself. And I think as soon as that's clear, everything will sort of fall into place. You'll go that extra mile to see your teacher outside of school, or you'll put in that extra hour's worth of work. That's just as an example. So sorry if I'm not answering you that in the correct context with what you're specifically asking. Feel free to ask me more specifically if you'd like to. But yeah. Serena says, any tips for text response when I've only read the book once and I don't really like the novel? Yeah, look, you're gonna have to just read it again. That's terrible advice, actually. Let me say that again. I think find ways to appreciate the text, because there's always going to be a way for you to enjoy the text, even if you don't really enjoy the plot itself. So let me give you an example. I personally do not like Shakespeare. I do not like Shakespeare. Unpopular opinion. I'm so sorry for anyone I offend, but I just don't. And I find it really hard to understand, really hard to read. And as a result, it's not enjoyable for me. Like, I like reading because it's fun. It shouldn't be a tedious task, and yet it is. So what I do to kind of find my way of appreciating and enjoying the novel is, yes, I do that kind of like hard slog of, this is me skiing by the way, hard slog of having the translated book open and then reading the actual book itself. And then I start to appreciate the themes that are going on. I start to appreciate the language techniques or the meta language that's being used. For me personally, that's what I enjoy in English. I love just reading a book and on the surface, it looks pretty shit and you're just kind of like, why am I reading this? But then the more you dig into it, the more you dig into themes, the more you dig into how the author has constructed particular sentences, why they've created characters in a particular way, why characters are so annoying and why some are so lovable. I think that's what starts to make it really interesting, because you can see how people use language to shape our opinions. So that's how I find meaning in books and how I enjoy it. And then I will reread the text again. So that's what I meant by rereading the text. It's inevitable. Like, you do want to do it because every time you reread, the more you pick up. So I hope that's helpful for you, Serena. So guys, just again, I'm asking, what do you do in your downtime? What do you like to do outside of study that makes you feel a lot more reinvigorated afterwards? Drop them in the comments for me. Artistic Spidey says, not a fan of Shakespeare either. His dialogue is so difficult to read. Agreed. Epic Kieran says, sleeping. Good one. I like that. Galazo says, how many times should I read the books? Ultimately, it's up to you. I read my books 3 times when I was in year 11 and year 12. That's just what worked for me, but you don't have to read it 3 times. You can read it twice. You can read it 4 times, 5 times. I think at some point it gets to a point where you're kind of like, you're getting diminishing returns, you know, like the more you read, the less you're actually going to absorb, or new information you're going to absorb. So sort of understand where that tipping point for you is. For me, it was 3. The first time I read it just to understand what was going on. The second time, it was to collect all the themes and quotes and just, okay, this is my mixing pot, to just kind of collect everything so I could create notes on it. And then my third time was towards the end of the year when I was revising for my exams. It'd just be the overall refresher to look through the book and find anything that I'd missed the first 2 times around, because there definitely were things that I missed. That included things like trying to find new quotes that maybe other people weren't using because I wanted to stand out, you know, or finding other pieces of evidence that I would have missed the first time around because I wasn't as familiar with the book. So yeah, hope that's helpful for you guys. Six says, smashed out the creative sack today. Hells yeah, well done. Gotta own it, you know. I feel like more people should be proud of themselves and just voice it out loud. Haley says, okay, but can I ask what flavor pizza are you getting? Good question. I actually don't know. What do you guys think I should get? Let me know. I'm kind of in a mood where it's kind of like anything will fly today. Sometimes I'm pretty picky, but yeah, today I'm feeling experimental. Okay. Equisian says, are there any ways to get ahead in English? I think somebody else asked this before. Getting ahead, that's a really good one. So English isn't like maths, where in maths it's really clear when you're getting ahead, right? Like you're in chapter 2 in class, but then maybe you're up to chapter 5. Whoa. Whereas with English, it's maybe what you could do is sorry about that, I got a notification that it's time to go and get pizza. What? So I think, what was I saying? Yes, with English, you know, yeah, you can start moving ahead and maybe like do language analysis if you haven't done that yet, or you can go ahead and do comparative. But sometimes I feel like doing that is not necessarily that helpful because you're kind of like switching topics in completely. I feel like somehow with maths, things kind of build upon each other a lot more, whereas in English, you've kind of got very separate sort of topics, and sometimes it can be hard to just kind of like switch on and off between the two. So actually, my recommendation, like if you were my student, I would say is you just kind of want to do extra work. Such as, maybe it's time for you to start reading other people's essays and start thinking about what your essays are going to look like if your class is nowhere near that essay writing stage and they're only doing themes. Or another really good thing you can do is start reading critical essays. So this is like reading reviews, reading literature reports from people who've studied these texts in university. And these types of documents can be very dense. They're challenging to read, but they're very good at helping you build insight into the text. So all you need to do is go onto Google and type in your book, whatever it's called, and then write in critical review or critical essay. You're gonna find heaps if it's a text that's quite well known. Probably less so if it's an Australian text. Sorry about that. It's just yeah. Nothing we can do about it. But that's a really great way for you to kind of go ahead. So in summary, my answer is, in order to push ahead, you want to try to deepen your knowledge of the text. Find the different ways you can deepen your knowledge of the text that your class isn't talking about, because if you can do that, you're offering a new interpretation. You will be giving them something, giving your teacher something that isn't so obvious and has been discussed in class. Cool. Anytime I look over here, it's because I'm editing my camera settings, because the lighting's always going up and down, up and down. This is what I have to deal with when I film, guys. Haley says Hawaiian pizza. Ooh, that is controversial. When I was younger, I loved Hawaiian pizza. Then when I got older, I was like, why pineapple on pizza? And then now I'm kind of flipping back and I'm kind of like, you know what? Pineapple on pizza is not that bad. So yeah, I got you, girl. Wilson says, do you have any advice to better understand the thematic ideas of a text? Similar to my answer to you before, find different resources to help you deepen your understanding. The more variety of resources you have, the more likely you're going to be able to contribute more to your kind of foundational ideas. Plugging my Station 11 study guide. It's on my shop page. Go for it. It's got great reviews. That is all. Oh, also, this is also something that could be helpful for quite a few of you, but we have developed the LSG BBT strategy. So that's the bubble tea strategy to help you develop unique interpretations of a text. Because I think the main issue with essay writing is you don't want to just sound like everybody else, but how do you develop your own unique interpretation, right? It's hard to come up with your own ideas. It's hard to come up with original ideas. So what we've been doing is we've been creating this strategy called BBT strategy. It stands for bubble tea. And we basically break down for you how you can develop unique interpretations of a text, regardless of which text you're studying for. So if you purchase any one of our study guides that's written by Mark Yin, we will be uploading the unique interpretations on our study guides pretty soon. So he's written Station 11, Women of Troy. He's also done a couple of comparative ones. And for the other texts, we're slowly also adding those unique interpretations for them. So yeah, that's that. Pineapples on a pizza is a type of pizza that SpongeBob would eat. I agree with you. Angel says hello. Hey, Angel. Okay, guys. So I think it's time for final questions. Ask me any questions you've got. I'll stay around until like 6:15. Yeah. Wilson says thank you so much. Not a problem at all, guys. Yeah. Question for you guys, actually. I'm super curious, and this is super self-indulgent of me, but if you had to describe my personality, what would you describe it as? I'm very curious as to how I come off in the public eye. Yeah. Just because, yeah, recently I started a TikTok, in case you didn't know. Sorry for sounding like a broken record. And I think that on TikTok, I'm definitely showing a different side of me. And I think that's why it's just been so fun because, to be honest with you guys, I feel like on YouTube, because quite a few of my videos are shown in class, I feel like I need to kind of not be too out there, to be honest. I try not to swear too much. I try not to be too sassy, but I think TikTok's been a really great outlet for me to kind of be more of who I am. So yeah. Artistic Spidey says kind, thank you. I hope so. Hope I'm helping you guys as much as, I possibly can. Haley says lively. Yes, I am very lively, very extroverted. I am very energetic. But, I guess after the live stream, I'll be kind of a little bit less energetic. This is probably like a 9 for me out of 10, but probably afterwards I'll be more like a 7. That's normal, I figure. MS Lemon says, is it hard to fail year 12? I think it's the wrong question. The right question is, how are you going to do well in year 12? Because you can do it. Very straightforward when I'm talking about English and language arts. Yeah, I'm glad. I think it's important to have, straightforward information that's concise as well. There's just so much misinformation out there, and there's so many people who are like, I did it this way, and then you think that that's the way that you should be doing it, but that's not true. So I think it's important just to give advice, for what it is, and you take what you want to take. I want you to be critical too. I don't want you just to listen to me and think, oh, Lisa's the god of English. I'm not the god of English. she knows, you know. Feel free to disagree with what I'm saying. I'm totally okay with that. I think having more voices and more opinions on the table is actually beneficial, because then you kind of see what other options there are for you. And to link this back to the whole unique interpretations thing, similar thing, like don't just follow the crowd and don't just agree with what's being taught to you in class by your teacher. Feel free to go against the grain. And yeah, it might feel awkward. You might not even believe it. You might not believe that Macbeth is a good person. But if you just want to be a little bit controversial, you want to try something different, you want to kind of surprise your teacher with what you're doing, and maybe in doing so get that A+, maybe you do want to go on the angle of, yeah, he's a great person and argue it emphatically. Thanks so much for all your questions, guys. It's been really great. I've been enjoying this with you. Shushu says, have you ever felt really tired after a school day? How do you refresh yourself? Well, we've been talking about this all throughout the live stream, actually. We've been talking about what type of things people do for their downtime. For me personally, I like to do anything that's not related to studying. Yoga, meditation, reading, gardening, going on a walk, playing with my cat. Other people have said hiking, biking, sleeping, drawing. So I think it's absolutely okay for you to feel exhausted after a school day. Sometimes school days are really intense, and I think we need to be kind to ourselves and appreciate when we are feeling tired and let our bodies have that break, recognize it. It's hard, I think, to have that self-awareness, but when you recognize that you are tired and you give yourself a break, you're going to benefit so much more than just coming back home and just going, yeah, I need to keep studying, or etc. Yes, I do have a cat. Her name's Miso. I like to call her Lil Thug because she's from the West Side. One of my friends is really mad at me for like calling her that, which I don't really understand, because, you know, it's up to the person, it's up to the parent how they want to name their pet, okay? Anyways, it's just a joke. It's not a joke. Anyways, yeah, she's 4 months old and she's great. She's very naughty. Amanda says, did you always find English as an easy subject that came naturally to you? Hell no, girlfriend. I've done a video on this, but it was not my subject. I was always a maths and science student, Asian, but I was able to find ways to make English my best subject, which is crazy. And that's why I share advice on YouTube and through all the work that I do, through tutoring, through my study guides, on my blog, because I just feel like if I could have done it, literally anyone could. Like, you're only limiting yourself if you don't think you're good at English. I think anyone can be good at English. You just need to find the tactics that are going to work for you. Miso gives off West Side vibes. Yeah, she does. Is it too late to get really good at English in year 12? Hell no, it's not. You can definitely do it. Like, I turned around my English within months. So you can too. It's been great chatting with you guys. Especially, oh no, all your names are like disappearing, but Artistic Spidey, Haley, a few others of you, I'm sorry. There's just so many. Like Galazzo. If I haven't mentioned your name, it's just because they've like gone up. But yeah, it's been really kind of great just getting to know you guys. Oh, Lil Shush says, your videos helped me get full marks on my English essays. Congratulations, that's amazing. Galazio says, everybody just buy Lisa Study Guides books and you'll be good at English in months. I hope so. Like these guides are not just guides that are written for the sake of it, you know. It wasn't just like a, I don't know, like a business decision that was like, yeah, we're gonna make money off study guides, which I kind of feel like I see a lot of people doing. But like, we really thought about what goes into these study guides, and we're always actually modifying them and improving them as we get feedback. So yeah, like if you purchase something with us, you will know that it's not going to go out of date, and we're not going to release like a 2022 edition and then suddenly your book is out of date. Like, I'm not going to do that to you guys. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to grab pizza now. Yeah. You can follow me at Lisa Study Guides, or at I'm Lisa Tran. I don't really know which one on Instagram I'm sticking with. I'm sorry that it's annoying, but I can upload a picture of which pizza I end up getting. Otherwise, if you're on TikTok, join me there. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day. It was really great chatting with you. And yeah, send me a message. Like, tell me what you'd like to see more of in live streams. I'd love you guys to leave a comment for me. Like, what was good about this live stream? Wasn't so great, so I can improve for the next one. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.